guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. How's everyone doing? Excuse the way I look, I am busy creating art, so I'd never do that in good clothes or nice clothes. But today I wanted to do a video with you because I am bringing, again, if you don't know, my booth is closing. They rented the whole space out to a retail business where the antique mall was. So I had to move my booth. So I have a lot of items coming into my home, and I thought I would show you a couple of ways you could style these exact same items in your home. They're all going to be on Etsy. My Etsy shop will be down below. So what I'm going to do today is show you a table vignette. This is my dining room table. It is a vintage table. In fact, every piece in my dining room is vintage, the furniture. So what I'm going to do is start with the vintage base, and we're going to build up from that. And since my table, my chairs are all vintage, I'm going to put down a new, not new, but it's not vintage tablecloth. This tablecloth I got on deep discount at Macy's, like 80% off, and I got it for like $15, $14. It's beautiful, and I think it will really work well with the vignette I want to show you how to set up today. So let me get all of this moved off the table, and let me get my tablecloth on, and we'll be back. But before we do that, I want to show you what we're going to be working with. I'm going to start with showing you this very blue big glass jug or vase. You could use it without flowers in it or with. I'll show it both ways. Then I have this very pretty vintage planter. It has, I don't know if you can tell, but the circles on the side are out a little bit. It's very beautiful, and it is a vintage piece. And then I have a smaller blue vase or jar, however you want to look at it. Also on the vintage end, I have these vintage trays. This one is Chromex and this one is Cordova, so both vintage. As well as this little, I don't want to say gravy because I'm not going to put this sauce, but a little silver, like creamer or whatever. And then this silver vine basket, it's a grape vine basket. And this is gold dinger, and again, vintage. Then we're going to pair it with our Amazon battery operated candles, because I don't use real candles. I have animals, they're sensitive to smells, and I get migraines. And we're also going to use these mushrooms that I have. These came off of Joann's, and they were on sale at Joann's when I bought them, which is why I bought them. And yes, you can mix metals, even though this is faux metal and probably just a really nice gloss gold paint. You can mix the gold and the silver. It's acceptable. So, and then of course I have my styrofoam, which I use as risers just to give some varying height in this vignette. So I'm going to clear all of this off, put the tablecloth on, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, before I take everything off, I also added this wood mushroom with the orange top, because if you don't know, blue and orange are complementary colors. They make each other pop. They look really good together. So I paired those, and I'm also going to add in some natural elements just to give you another option, especially with fall coming. I love the mushrooms and the natural elements. So I'll show you how you can mix all of this together. Now I'll finish clearing it all off. Now we have our riser on. We're going to start with the simplest vignette you could possibly do. And we're going to start with all 3 of our blue vases, or 2 vases, jars, bottles, and our pot, our planter. And you're just going to arrange them in a little grouping that kind of looks like a warm hug. And that's all you have to do. And you could put plants in all of them, or you could leave them empty. Personally, I like the plants, even if they're fake, because it adds in another texture. It gives it maybe another color. You could use something, you know, a little more tied into the blue. You could use something tied in more to whatever tablecloth you choose. But we have the vintage dining room set, the modern tablecloth, and the vintage vases, jars, whatever you want to call these. So that's one way to do it. You could put the biggest one in the center and put the 2 little ones on there. Arrange however you see it in your mind, okay? Now, if you don't want to have such a heavy, if your table's not as big as mine, I do have my leaf in, but maybe this would be overwhelming for your table and you want to kind of size it down. Or maybe you just want to use the big one. Keep it super simple. Maybe you like it really, you know, clean, and that would be great too. You could also do any pairing of the large and the small all blue, or the blue and the pot. Planter's pot, up to you, doesn't matter, it all works. Now, let's say your table can't handle this big one, but you like the little one. But the little one by itself, even with florals in it, kind of the little one by itself, even with florals, isn't quite enough. You feel like it needs a little something else. So what you could do is you could add the basket. It's smaller than the blue. You could just have these 2 on there. They're a beautiful pairing together. Or maybe you don't want anything with height, then you could come in, because blue and the stainless or the silver go beautifully together, and you could have this little setup. Now this would be beautiful for a dinner party, because not only could you take the florals out of here, wash it really good, you could maybe put some chopsticks or some skewers in here. You could put some shrimp on here with some sauce or lemon butter. You know, think outside the box. It doesn't just have to be decor pieces. Now, let's say you like the vibe, but I haven't quite hit the itch yet. Okay. Maybe you want this with this, but you want some brightness because you are a candle person. Now, with this setup, the candles are the perfect type. You could actually take the little sauce one off and put your candles on the silver tray like that. Simple vignettes, not using a lot of vintage or a lot of modern. But keep in mind, I am using my vintage table and a modern tablecloth. They're all working together to create a unique look, no matter how we build this out. Now let's go back and say you like the basket, but you want the candles in there, but you need something higher because this and this are about the same. Do you want your vase in the center to be the highest point? Great. I'm going to show you an easy trick, for adjusting heights in your vignettes, especially when you have the luxury of a tablecloth to hide them. So we want the little vase, to be taller than our basket, because our basket is about the same height. So I'm going to use one of these little square pieces right here, and I'm going to put my vase on it. Now my vase is raised, so when I put my basket over here, there is a noticeable height difference, which works really good. Then maybe you want to bring your candles on the other side over here, and you get a nice little look just by inserting a piece of styrofoam. And this is a great way to use styrofoam and not putting it back in the landfill, to save it and use it as this. Okay guys, so we've done, maybe you want more of a warm feeling, because this is, to me, a little formal, okay? I'm going to show you a way to add warmth using our same vases, just changing out our tablecloth and changing out the metal, the silver, or changing out the silver with something more warm, like wood, and textures like a hemp or a straw. And I can't change my table, obviously, so I am still very fortunate to be working with a vintage table and chairs. But if yours is modern, that's great. That is awesome. And maybe you want to trade out my modern tablecloth for a vintage tablecloth. That way, it's just opposite of mine, but you're adding in one more piece of vintage, and that would work really well with our next setup. So let me get this tablecloth on. This tablecloth to me is super fun. It's a foresty, to me this is fall. This is what I put on my table during fall. I love this tablecloth. And as soon as I get it figured out, I'll show you. It's got mushrooms on it, it's got butterflies, it's got greenery, it's got snails. I just love this tablecloth. Now this tablecloth, again, is not brand new. I've had it for years, but it's not vintage. I've got this beautiful tablecloth on. I'll give you an close look here in case the camera is not picking it up. It's just so pretty. And if you love nature and fall, I think this is a gorgeous tablecloth. But maybe you think this is more summer. I like it for fall. If you want to see my vintage chairs, there they are. Okay, so now, how would you take our blue vases and put them on something a little more casual, not as refined as the first tablecloth? And I'm going to show you. And does this one have blue? It does. I don't know if you can see it, but it has little flowers on the sides that have blue. So they're really going to pop once we put our vases back on. And again, if you have a large table and you want to keep it simple, you could put some flowers that are more fall than mine in here, and they would look gorgeous. Or you could, again, we can do the same things. We can mix and match. We can layer. We can put two larger vases with the smaller vase. And again, create something layered. Here though, I've noticed, let me take these out so you can see, something layered like that in the center. What you could do too, because this one and this one are very, very close in size, is use our styrofoam hat just to raise the biggest one up, just to create a little more height difference with the next in size. And do you see it? No. Once you get everything on there, you don't notice. But then that gives you a little more height difference, and again, makes it more pleasing to the eye. Okay. But what if you don't want to do all of that? Again, your table just doesn't support it. This is where, because this is fall, has more nature, it's more earthy, more grounded, our tablecloth. And you'll notice both of these tablecloths, the one that was a little more fancy, paired with the blue, looked beautiful. This one looks beautiful as well. But what we're going to do is change up how we pair it. With the fancier, air quotes, tablecloth, we paired it with the Chromex, the Cordova, the Goldinger, the metal, the silver, the silver. But this time we're going to pair our blue, our small, because we're going to add in other elements. And I'm going to add in these mushrooms, and I'm going to create little vignettes of mushrooms because I want there to be another metal, another color that sets off my tablecloth with my blue vase, and that orange mushroom is the tie-in. Now, because I want my vase taller than my mushrooms, I'm going to come in with my styrofoam. And is it going to be tall enough? No. So that's why I have multiple pieces of styrofoam so I can layer. I have to find the other one so I can layer. Maybe I need to stack them. And I probably have more out in my garage that I can use too, because I tend not to throw styrofoam away because it is so bad for the environment, though I did just lose it. Oh, there it is. Now this one is a triangle because it works for what I have on my table before. And what I like is you can add these once you get your tablecloth already on. You don't have to take it back off again. Now you would want to square, so excuse my triangle. And it does kind of create an awkwardness. So then what you're going to do is use your other elements to kind of cover that awkwardness created by the risers. There we go. So there you go. Then you have a vintage and modern setup again. Or maybe just use your taller vase. But it's kind of really big. And maybe you don't want to use it like that. So maybe since we're using such tall mushrooms, we're going to spread them out again because we are going into a bigger focal point. And this time we're going to use the blue and white pottery because it's gorgeous and it's almost tall enough. So in this case, we could add in one of our risers and lift it up and it would look really good. Now, something else you can do is if you want to create a look but you don't want to buy the mushrooms, which is fine, not everybody wants wood mushrooms. Though I do love that orange. It's such a good color to pair with our blue that we are going to use it because it just sets it apart. The only thing is, it's kind of weird. There we go. And then we're going to add in our candles. Because remember, it doesn't have to all be vintage. It can be more modern paired with just a kiss of vintage. I had a floral double tray, serving tray, but it sold. So then you could use natural elements like the round straw circle. I got that from Target, and the candles are from Amazon, and then the vintage blue and white planter with our orange. See how that orange makes that blue a pop? It's just going to be difficult to stand up, but you could stand it up. You could put a piece of tape on the bottom. You could even add in a little gold too if you wanted to give it a hint of reflection of metal. Up to you. But I think that is gorgeous. And I love that for fall. I love the earthiness, but really notice how that orange makes that blue and white pop. And the gold doesn't make it pop. Now, does this pop the same to you? No, because blue and orange are complementary. So when you're picking your vintage vignettes and you're pairing them maybe with a little something modern, like my mushroom here, and your vase is blue, or maybe your vase is orange because of fall, pair it with something blue because it's going to make that orange even more vibrant because the hint makes the bigger pop more. So anyway, there is another idea for mixing your vintage and your modern together. Then you could always have candles with candlesticks. If you had some, let me go see what I have in the silver color. Hold on. Okay, so let's say you want to add another color, maybe something a little darker, a darker wood, and you want to add in some silver. You could throw in some vintage candlesticks in the silver color, though I will be honest with you, I don't like those. They don't go with the era. They don't go with the era of the vase, and that's kind of important. When your vintage pieces are really working together, the timelines work together, and these are not. So let me go find something else. Give me just a minute. Okay, these are faux mercury glass, but I think they're going to look really good, and they're going to give us a little something, a little more height, and a little more chunk. So if you wanted to mix, here we have some faux mercury glass candlesticks, and what I like about them is it adds more height to my centerpiece or my vignette. It adds a different metal because we have the faux gold on our mushroom, which is just gold paint, and we have our mercury glass with the silver top on it. Yeah, that's I always have a hard time with candlesticks. The silver where your candle sits, so when your candle's in it, you're going to see the silver rim. I like how this works. Why does this work? Because your orange is adding warmth to the cool of the silver. It also warms up your blue. They're complementary colors. And then your gold is just a hint of brightness that it all needs. And we're grounding it all on our mat. And it would work just as beautifully, just the same on this circle placemat centerpiece thing that, again, I got at Target years ago. And this is more like twine, to be honest. So you could do both of these if you wanted. It's a little lighter, but not a lot. It would totally be whatever you wanted. This is more of a fall, more of a warm look, more of a casual look, where when we did this was more of a formal with the silver and the blues in the fancier table. It was more of a formal look. This is more of an everyday look, or maybe a get-together for family. Creating these vintage vignettes is not hard, and people, I think, have trouble with it because they really overthink it. They think it's, you know, really complicated. It's not. You're just using height, color theory, and don't be afraid to mix your metals. If you really wanted to use the candles, of course, just throw the candles on there. Let me see. Where did I put the other candle? Oh, here it is. And there you go. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of great videos coming your way with ideas for more vintage vignettes in your home and for special occasions. We're going to talk every special event you could possibly have in your life. So subscribe and don't miss out. Also, check out my Etsy store. It is linked down below. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Take care. Bye-bye.